What's up, everyone? Hope you're all doing well. A few reflections on my trip this past week to the UK for the British Rowing Indoor Championships. I mean, wow, what a treat to just be able to go at all, but really to be able to experience what I have to say was an incredibly well-organized event with so many people from the indoor rowing community. Many, many people that I've only known through my phone or computer for the last year or two. Incredibly cool to be able to meet a ton of new people, make some new friends, and watch some great racing. With indoor rowing being such a niche sport, there are very few opportunities each year for the community to come together in big numbers like this. Now, I'd love to be able to go again next year. Maybe that'll be in the cards, maybe not. If I'm able to, then I would love to try and get back out to Birmingham and take another crack at the 2K in particular. I was definitely nervous for the 2K, not because I was putting a ton of pressure on myself for a big score, but just being in that environment. I mean, having tons of spectators there watching, right? I'm the type of person, I hate being in the spotlight and being on and feeling like I'm on stage. And so for me, it's quite anxiety inducing, actually. And you're only gonna get more comfortable and better at handling that by doing it again. And so I'd like to think that I could be a little bit more confident maybe. But anyways, so today I'm gonna do what I would consider my favorite test piece, the 30 rate 20. I'm just gonna see how I feel today. My main goal is do not put the handle down. At times over the last year or so, I've made a bad habit of putting the handle down if I feel like a test piece isn't going my way. And that's just a really bad habit to get into. So if I have to finish the piece at my zone 2 splits, so be it. But I will finish the piece out, and who knows? Might be one of those days where I actually feel pretty good. So, and I have not done a 30 rate 20, or I have not completed a 30 rate 20, I should say, in some time. I'd have to check my training log, but it's been at least a few months. So I am kind of curious to see, based on my current form, how I'll do. And as a bit of a sneak preview on what I'm going to be focusing on in my winter training, I think the 30 rate 20 will be a really good gauge of how my winter training's going. So power is definitely going to be a focal point over the next 3-4 months. Developing more power, just getting stronger. I'll think of, or I'll treat today as a bit of a baseline, and we'll go from there. It's really cold in the garage, which is great during a test piece, but it just means you gotta be a little more deliberate about the warm up. So finishing up a very light spin on the bike, I'll jump on the erg for a couple thousand meters, and then I'll jump into the piece. So the reason why I say the 30 rate 20 is my favorite test is because there really is no way to cheat it, quote unquote, right? I really believe the spirit of this test is to be as close to 600 strokes on the dot as possible, while not necessarily being militant about it. So I think today, I'd have to double check, but I think today was 606 or 607 strokes. I got a little bit lazy on the stroke discipline towards the end because I was not feeling very good, and I closed my eyes for long stretches just to, you know, do what I could to get through it. But normally I try to stick as close to 600 as possible. So it's a very different type of test. You have lots of time to think in between each stroke, which can be a good or a bad thing, depending on, I guess, depending on your strengths. But, you know, my goal is to chip away at this over the winter. My PB is a 143.8 average split. So today I was about half a split off, which actually, honestly, I'm pretty pleased with. I didn't expect to be this close, just given I really haven't trained for this at all the last few months. So yeah, pretty good. So if you have not done a 30 rate 20, I would highly recommend incorporating it into your training every so often. It can expose what might be a big area of improvement for you. With rowing being a power endurance sport, I feel like I have over-indexed on the endurance piece. Really, the entirety of the last 2 years that I've been training, while really neglecting the power piece. And I've done a little bit of peak power training in my prep for the 2K, but nowhere near as much as I should. Over the winter, I would like to really focus on improving my power, and that's really gonna come primarily from lifting weights again. So I've done negligible weight training over the last couple of years. I've false started a couple times trying to get back into it, but just haven't been able to sustain it. And there's really no excuse. I mean, as you can see, I literally have an entire gym, you know, a few feet away from the erg. So I have everything I need right behind me. The main reason, if I'm honest, is just just not really that excited about strength training now the way I was, you know, in my 20s, early 30s even. So I view it as, well, not necessarily evil, but just something I have to do if I want to make that next step change improvement on the rower. I can't keep neglecting it. And so it doesn't need to be overly complicated, right? I don't need to spend hours lifting weights every week, but it does need to be deliberate, focused, and it'll be a trade-off between time I would otherwise be spending on the erg or doing some other form of cross-training, because I have, you know, a somewhat fixed number of hours each week that I can train. I can't just simply add on to my existing training program. I'll dive in more into my strength training program, or at least how I think I'm gonna approach it, in a subsequent video. For now, like I said, 30 rate 20. If you haven't done one before, do one. If you really struggle through it, I wouldn't be discouraged. I would just view it as an area of opportunity. Anyhow, enough rambling for today. Hope you're all having a great December so far and are looking forward to the holidays. I know I am. I'll be taking a little bit of a break this weekend, and then probably a lighter couple weeks as we get closer to Christmas to try and recharge the batteries so I can come back fully focused and ready to go in the new year. So until next time, take care of yourselves, keep chasing. Peace.